Hello, and welcome back to the channel. So you can see here we're in, I guess I don't know if it's like obvious based on the screen or not. Well, I guess it's like the date, but this is FIFA 21. We're here doing another Kit Quest Manager Career Mode. As you can see, we're playing as Inter Milan, who won the Serie A title in the 2020-21 season. In terms of like the player focus, this is going to kind of just be a quick introductory video and whatnot. But in terms of the kind of the player focus here, if you go to the squad, pull up all this stuff I don't really care about right now. Go to the squad hub. Let's pull up in the midfield. Oh, there he is. Yes, the player focus for this one will be Christian Eriksen. As many of you probably know, Christian Eriksen was kind of a big part of the Pochettino era at Tottenham, and then kind of left like the first January, kind of into Jose's reign at Tottenham, moved to Inter. Spent like a season and a half there, won the Scudetto second season with Inter, which is this season we're kind of playing as right now. And like if you remember, I don't know if you remember or not, but he won. He was the kind of player who scored the title clinching goal in their match against Crotone at like I think the 1st of May. So Inter was able to clinch the title a few weeks early, and he scored the title clinching goal for Inter in their away kit against Crotone in that match. So that's kind of his going to be player focus, kid focus. Unfortunately, because they only show the home one here on this like squad screen. This isn't it. It's the away kit, which it's like kind of how do I describe it? It's like white, kind of with like a checkerboardy kind of pattern on it. Like it's like white with like blue and black like kind of stripes on it to create like squares like kind of all over it, like a soccer, kind of like a checkerboard in that sense, I guess. It's an interesting looking kit and kind of goes with this. You might have seen in the other screen, kind of the like manager for this one is Da Vinci. So that's kind of like why, because like once it gets kind of onto like the ID number above 99, kind of have to get creative with the kind of like connecting, like can't just use the number player's number like 24 here to like make an easy one-to-one kind of link. So kind of had to get creative. And my research couldn't really find any teams that had like a Da Vinci like painting or sculpture or something out like that's wasn't really a sculptor, but like painting or drawing, something like a kit directly kind of inspired by Da Vinci and his art himself, which is kind of disappointing. You think Da Vinci being kind of like one of the most famous, if not the most famous, kind of artists in the world, that like some team in Italy or somewhere would have done like a kit inspired by his art. Kind of like this season, like Ajax has like I think it's their away kit. It's kind of looks like it's kind of inspired by Van Gogh's Starry Night painting. So you think some team would kind of do something like that with something, one of Da Vinci's kits, but I guess maybe the problem is like this, like the kind of cities associated with probably are Fiorentina, which is actually the name of the city. It's Florence, which would be Fiorentina would be the team, and then it's Milan, so you'd have Inter and AC Milan. So I guess it's like one of those three teams. Somehow any of them from those teams here that are like Adidas or Nike or whoever does their kits these days. Someone should do a Da Vinci inspired kit. It'd probably sell like hotcakes. It'd probably be pretty cool, but because that isn't a thing, I was kind of like, all right, let me pull up. I forgot what the name of the website was. I was like, players that have played for both Inter or AC or Fiorentina and Tottenham, and kind of the biggest name was Eriksen here. The other kind of possibility would have been, kind of scrolling back, probably missed him quickly, would have been Ivan Perisic, but Perisic like only played like a season and like a handful of matches at Spurs, and it's like Spurs' career wasn't that fondly remembered because it was like the Conte second season, which was just like terrible. And then he was kind of decent. He would have been decent, I feel like, under Ange. He would have cooked a little bit as like a winger, like coming out like a super sub winger coming off the bench. But he like got injured. I think it wasn't even like in a match. Like, sorry, he had like an assist like in the comeback game against Southampton. But I think he got like injured during training or something. It was like a terrible injury. He like was going to be like out for pretty much the whole season. So we like let him go like on a free back to like Club Bruges or whatever in like January, that Ange's first year. So it's kind of like And then Eriksen also because he scored the title clinching goal in that kit. So I was like in a kit. So I was like, it's probably a good one to go with. And, like I kind of prefer like their fourth kit. I think that's kind of hard to find and whatnot. So the away kit's not bad, and Eriksen scored the title clinching goal in it, so it works for me. But yes, he's the player of focus in this one. So we're kind of key. Eriksen's like the kind of the core central piece of this team that we're going to kind of build around. It's kind of unfortunate here, like his overall got downed a lot. Probably I don't even know why. Probably just FIFA doing FIFA things, kind of because of probably like he's 28, I guess, and like 'cause he had the whole in between like the current season we're about to start here, and then oh no, it would have been after this season, right? When he collapsed at Euro 2020, I guess it would have been after this season, right? Right. Blah blah blah. Next day, that was when was that? So the match was yeah, it was yeah, okay. Eriksen was excluded from the squad for the Euro. It was June 12th, 2021. So it would have been after the season too, is when he like collapsed during the match at the Euros. So I don't know why is it like overall went down so much. I don't know. This is kind of before I started watching soccer again, so don't really know 100% like the ins and outs of like what happened. Because I'm pretty sure like this, because like the reason I'm like saying this is like it's because like in the video that I'll link in the description, kind of like what I'm using for the tackle setup, like he's like an 87 overall in like FIFA 20. So you kind of I would have thought it would have been not maybe not that high still, but would have been like decently high. But yeah, sorry, I just had to like check what like his actual overall was. That's in that video. But yes, he was like 87 overall. So has a pretty stark decline for someone still in their 20s. In terms of like FIFA just dropping his overall like 4 points like that. But yes, he's the player of focus and whatnot. Kind of quickly, the last thing I'll probably just click at is like I don't know if it says if it's in this game or not. Is it in this game? Notifications, all those notifications. Is like the board goals stuff not a thing? Or is that here? Board expectations. Here we go. Let's look at these quick. So they want one youth defender, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. So kind of just looking at these quick. These ones shouldn't be too hard to do potentially if they count youth players as the bottom one. First one, top one should be too bad considering Inter won the league. Bottom one might be difficult. Financial one, that's easy enough. Win the cup, not sure. I think they got to the final or the semifinals. That's in this season, and like lost to Juve. I think it was like they lost to Juve in the semifinals because they were like cup thing is a two-legged thing. So they lost to Juve, and then win the league. We should win the league hypothetically because they did out in real life this season. Kind of non-success reached the final. I'm pretty sure they like had a terrible season in the Champions League. Like they like got bounced in the group stage, but it was what it is. But yes, those are kind of the goals. The last thing is yeah. So the tactics I'm going to be using is kind of like Conte's. Because Conte was the manager of the season, his like 3-5-2 setup and whatnot, and like I'll have the video linked in the description of kind of like the what I'm using to kind of mimic that from like a nice video on YouTube from a channel I use for these. I've used them for like other series on this channel as well, but yeah, so we should kind of hopefully win the title in this first season. So that's kind of how this kind of work, I guess, because it's been a little bit since we've done a Kick Quest because the Oxford United one got postponed. Like we're gonna try and because it's like a bigger club, it's in a small interest, like one of the biggest clubs in Italy. We're gonna try and basically win like all the trophies pretty much. So the Serie A, Scudetto, Coppa Italia, and then try and win something in Europe. At least the Serie A and the Coppa Italia. We'll try to win those two. That kind of go from there in terms and whatnot. But so this should last at least. Maybe it might be lucky just because Inter had a pretty good season. Might last the one season, but we'll see. But yeah, so the next episode will kind of be the end of the season, kind of recap and whatnot. Or hopefully we should have the Serie A title all wrapped up and all that good stuff. We'll go through Eriksen's stats and everyone's stats and transfer stuff. Because I guess I'll probably do that quick list recap in terms of the transfers. Because Eriksen, how it works is I try and do kind of the focus player and then kind of club train players for like European kind of squad requirements and the homegrown stuff as well. Then by players who played for the same team as kind of the focus player. So it's Eriksen, so he played for Ajax, Spurs, Inter, obviously. So that's not going to count like the Inter players who comes from like all these other teams, so Ajax, Spurs, Brentford, and Man United. So like any players that played for one of those four teams that's currently on this roster we'll keep. Ones that didn't and don't fit like the homegrown or club train stuff, we'll get rid of. then potentially like in terms of the homegrown numbers and stuff, it's kind of convenient to be kind of from the same nation as like their manager. So like because Dimici's Italian, kind of make that easier to come by some like homegrown Italian players to kind of fill the homegrown numbers if we need to. But that should be the like, kind of last thing. So as I said, the next episode should be the kind of end of the season recap of the 2020-21 season. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and you'll watch the next one as well. Thank you.